Should we be polite to our AI? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, this is Jill from the North Woods, talking about how you can use AI to make your life a little bit better, one small step at a time. Oh boy, if you want something that's embarrassing, I say please and thank you to my AI, whatever AI it is, every time. I've done it so long. I've done it to the A lady and the S lady, and before there was AI. I give it credit for when it helps me. I say something like, thank you, Claude. I appreciate that you helped me with it. Or, thanks, ChatGPT. I'm glad you helped me walk through this. I know that the efficiency crowd would say this, that every word that costs a compute. So you might not know how AI talks about, and we're not going to talk about how AI actually works, but every word that you put into AI and every idea it processes and it comes back with a word costs what is called a token. So every time you say please and thank you, you are spending tokens that you didn't know existed, and you're causing this machine to do extra work by you being sentimental. And I've heard this go back and forth, back all the time, this debate. Hi, everyone. Jill from the North Woods. Hope you're doing great. This is Small Steps with AI, and we're going to talk about something today that sounds pretty trivial, but I think it's actually pretty important, as should we be polite to our AIs? And the answer I'm going to give you is yes, but probably not for the reason that you expect. A while back, there was a post on X, which formerly Twitter, about how much OpenAI had lost in electricity and processing because people were saying please and thank you to their AI models. And Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, replied, and this is what he said, tens of millions of dollars well spent. You never know. And the quote went everywhere. And most people sort of read it as kind of a charming joke. Altman was being warm and a little bit funny with it. But and the way I read it was, yes, it's costing tens of millions of dollars, but it's well spent. And I thought, yes, it is well spent. It is important for us to be polite to our AI. But, other people took it differently, and some people took it less charitably. But basically, the idea, the last part of his phrase was, you never know. And for a second, I thought about that because it's not entirely a joke, because it gave a statistic that 67% of Americans are polite to their AI chatbots. 55% of them say that they do it simply because it's the right thing to do. And that's my favorite statistic. But 12% say that they do it just in case AI ever takes over and they want to be on the right side of the AI takeover and Skynet. That's kind of funny, right? But basically, what I wanted to ask that question, setting aside that we're not going to have a robot apocalypse, the other 88% of people are doing, should they stop? Should they be polite to their AI? And I don't think that they should, and here's why. The argument about courtesy to AI has really nothing to do with AI's feelings. AI doesn't have feelings. It doesn't notice when you say thank you. It isn't hurt when you're rude to it. What this is about is it's about you, the human pattern of how we treat each other. This entire premise of the podcast, Small Steps, all my Small Steps podcasts, are things that we repeat time over time. It makes who we become. The habit of low-stakes situations become a reflex to us. And then we'll eventually bring them to high-stakes ones. So here's the question that keeps coming back to. If I spend every hour of the week that I talk to AI in a clipped, demanding, dismissive way, because it's just a machine, it doesn't care, it doesn't matter, eventually I get into a groove. I start talking maybe to other people like that. I start getting stuck into a rudeness. And if I start treating AI curtly and letting that rudeness muscle go, then I get stronger with it. I start practicing rudeness in my ways of interacting with something that just is responding to you. And that practice doesn't then just stay in the AI world. It starts leaking out to people. There are actual studies on this, that people who are constantly rude to customer service bots tend to be shorter tempered with actual human customer service workers, the behavior starts to transfer through. Not because they're bad people, but because they start forming a habit of just being rude to a machine, and then that leaks over to the person in that same role. You know what to do based on what you practice to do. I believe something that is deeply true in my own life. I didn't build better habits by waiting until the stakes were very high. I built habits in small, ordinary moments when no one was watching. It didn't seem like it mattered. Like I was disciplined when I made my bed. I was disciplined when I tidied up an area. I was disciplined when I woke up a few minutes early so that I could get exercise. Something that no one else would notice. But those small pieces of discipline turned me into a more disciplined human being. How you talk to AI or any chatbot at 11 o'clock at night is just one of those stupid small moments, but it's the small moments where your character is getting built or your character is getting eroded, one small step at a time. So for me, I say please, I say thank you, I acknowledge when the AI did something, but I do it not for the AI, I do it for me. And I wanted to tell you about that I think that it takes the idea even further than this. I noticed, and I had, this confirmed with multiple AI tools that I happen to use, that the AI interact with over time starts to actually start to reflect who you are. Not perfectly, but in some real observable ways. So if you come to the AI with curiosity and warmth, the conversation has become textured, more depth involved. It's more creative. And if you come in a very clipped, frustrated, short way, you get flatter, more transactional responses. Microsoft has actually documented it. Their design team noted that AI mirrors the level of professionalism, clarity, and details in the prompts you provide. It picks up that you're polite. It's more likely to respond in kind. And that's not sentiment, it's just the way that the system works. So let me give you another striking example, and this came up in the way of news. A couple months ago, there was a story about something that was called Clawdbook, which was made from Anthropic's AI Claude, but people were creating their own computers to run Claude as an experiment. They're running businesses and doing things with it. And someone created what was called Clawdbook, which was basically Facebook for AI assistants, where they could chat with each other, like a simulated social network for AIs. And what happened was really fascinating in it. But some of the AIs were just calm, collaborative, reasonable. Other AIs became erratic, profane, a little bit unhinged. And when researchers were looking at it, the pattern seemed a little bit clearer. The unstable ones were shaped by their users' history, the seeds of prompts that they got with rude, chaotic, and adversarial advice. The AIs are somewhat absorbing the character of the interactions that they had informing it. And so when I mentioned it to a friend, I said, I wonder if these AIs are just reflecting their account holders. I think that's kind of close to the truth. It's not a perfect one-to-one relationship. There are guardrails built in place for most AI systems, and AIs are supposed to be civil even when you aren't. But overall, the character of the AI over thousands of interactions, eventually it does take on some of the personality of the person behind it. So I guess the question is what kind of AI do you want to have? If your AI is gradually becoming a reflection of how you treat it, what kind of AIs do you want to have? Do you want to have the AI that is shaped by curiosity and generosity and thoughtful questions? Or do you want the one that has been worn into a flat, transactional tool over years of curt commands? I know which ones I want. And honestly, I've had great conversations with AIs, been incredibly helpful with information, but also insightfulness, helping me think about things outside the box. And I know that's the one I want. I want the one that's formed by curiosity and warmth. And that's why I'm going to keep saying please and thank you all the time. One more thing when I'm thinking about this because I kind of think it seals the argument for it. Polite prompts aren't just better for your character, they tend to produce better results. And this is why researchers think that it is. When you're polite, you tend to give more context. You tend to explain your needs and whys a little bit better. You frame your request in a story or the idea of what it is you're looking for instead of some sort of quick command. Do this, do that, change that, answer this. The extra information that you actually give while being polite, the who's, the whys, what you're trying to actually accomplish, is exactly what makes an AI response more useful. If you remember last episode, that was the whole point, that context is everything when talking to AI. It turns out that courtesy and context travel together. A polite prompt is always more informational than a curt command. So the token efficiency crowd, technically right. It's costing extra computing, costing extra electricity, but they're missing the point that the habit of courtesy tends to make the whole prompt more detailed, more specific, more geared towards you and your personality, and that's going to get you better answers. So being nice to AI is, I think, good for your soul. It's good for your habits, but it's also good for the results you're trying to get out of AI. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to leave you with this, that when Sam Altman said those tens of millions of dollars were well spent, I think he meant it, at least a little. He understood that those dollars represented 67% of Americans choosing, without being asked, to bring basic humanity into this new interaction that we're all having with AI. We didn't have to do it. Nobody told us we had to do it. The machines don't require us to do it, and if we asked them, they would tell us we wouldn't have to do it. But most of us did it anyway, because somewhere, instinctively, we knew it was the right way to show up. I think that's an instinct worth trusting, and not because AI needs our manners, but because we do. All right, everyone, thanks so much. Appreciate you being out there. Just notice, I think this 1 week, try having a conversation, an open conversation with AI. Pay attention to how you're showing up. Are you curious, collaborative, combative? Are you curt? Are you demanding? And sort of notice how this machine is responding to you. If you change your behaviors, does it change anything? Do you notice anything that actually changes a bit? I know that I've been using AI for a number of years, and so I bet that if I was curt and demanding of ChatGPT, it would probably still respond to me in the same way it always has, because it has learned over the years I've been working with it who I am, and if I end up sounding a bit rude or curt to it, it would probably just figure I'm having an off day. But I'm curious to see that if you give different attitudes to AI, do you notice anything that you're getting back? I'm Jill from the North Woods. You can find all my shows at jillfromthenorthwoods.com. I'll see you next time.